Hope everybody's having a great start to the new year. My name is Charles Dickinson, and I'm delighted to be here with you all. I'd like to take a few minutes today to talk about the importance of effective communication and how it can help develop a stronger work culture, which will in turn ensure the success of our new year. Because we're going into a new year, we need to set the foundation now and establish that type of culture. And three-way communication will help us do that. As we all know, communication is an essential part of leadership and plays a critical role in building relationships between team members. In today's fast-paced business environment, it's more important than ever to have a clear channel in place that ensures everyone is on the same page and is working towards the same goals. Part of the reason we go through three-way communication is because I'll say something, you'll hear something different, and then we'll get different results, and we need to make sure we're on the same page. Three-way communication is one of the such channels that help us achieve this by facilitating communication between team members, managers, and stakeholders. Three-way communication can help to promote transparency, collaboration, and accountability. Also help us to identify and address potential issues before they become major problems. In my line of work, in our line of work, everything we do, our goal is to stay ahead of problems. We want to stay ahead of safety concerns on my end. Depending on where you're at in your industry, you might want to stay ahead of logistics, operations, budgets. But it all comes back to communication and how is it being communicated, and is it being communicated properly? We want to kick this year off right. This is how we do it, making sure that we properly communicate. As we move into the new year, it is important that we focus on building a culture of open, effective communication. By doing so, we can create an environment that encourages innovation, creativity, and teamwork, and ultimately drive the success of the organization. And that is what we want to do. We want to drive success together. I appreciate you all coming in here, listening, taking the time to watch this video and have this training. It's greatly appreciated. Being able to communicate effectively is at the core of all other leadership skills and is critical to becoming an effective safety leader and a leader in all aspects as well. There are two aspects to this skill. The first one we'll discuss is about learning to be an active rather than passive listener. The second one outlines a simple strategy you can use to reduce misunderstandings between you and the person you are speaking to. And foremost, with respect when they're speaking. Throughout your whole career, whether it's the start, the end, the beginning, the middle, however you want to look at it, we have all areas of expertise, all levels of experiences, different avenues of education, but we need to respect everyone individually and talk to them with respect. There's times when I've seen individuals trying to address something or talk to somebody about something, and if they're an older individual, they don't pay attention to them if they're younger, and if they're younger, they're afraid to speak up, so they don't communicate as clearly. It's respect all the way around. So make sure we're respecting each other actively. Next is paying attention to nonverbal cues, such as body language and eye contact. One of the biggest things I see, and as a pet peeve for myself, is you go to speak or you're in a meeting and you're trying to address things and you're communicating to the best of your abilities. And then you have members of your team, they're on their phones, they're checking emails, they're reading, they're talking to somebody else in the middle of your meeting. When someone else is speaking, let's give them the attention that you would expect when you're speaking. Let's make sure we're actively listening and we're making eye contact, and we're not making the person who is addressing the issue or bringing up concerns or communicating to the team that they're being neglected. Make sure you're listening to them just as you would want them to listen to you. Listen to hear what is being said versus to come up with a response. Too often, individuals just sit there and wait for their chance to talk. You ever notice somebody in a meeting and it's their turn to speak, and then they go off on this tangent and it had nothing to do with the meeting, had nothing to do with what was being said. That's because they're not listening. They're not actively listening. They're just waiting for their chance to shine, their moment in the spotlight. They're just waiting for their opportunity to speak. Let's make sure that we are actively listening to what is being said, okay? So we can provide valuable feedback. Next, ask clarifying questions. If you do not understand something, that's perfectly fine. We're not meant to understand everything. Nobody is perfect. But don't just assume, what you think is being said and you're understanding it. If you have questions and you're not sure or there's some concern, ask those questions. I'm pretty sure you've heard it before. So I'm going to say it again, as they say. If you're thinking of asking a question, someone else is probably thinking the same thing. So just take that time and ask the question. And, hopefully you get the answers out of it. But if you don't get the answer you were looking for, maybe you asking that question could spark another conversation to help get the results that we are looking for. Because again, ultimately, we want us all to succeed. Don't leave anything hanging out there or being unsure. But ask the questions, right? Again, let's respect everybody. Let's pay attention to them. Not looking all over the place, playing on our phones, or we're talking to somebody else. And let's hear what's being said, not just waiting for our turn to talk. Again, ask the questions. Those are the ways we're going to actively listen. And then when it does come our time to talk, now we got to make sure we're practicing three-way communication. It helps ensure everyone understands your message, your instructions. This is done by making sure you have the listener's attention. Being direct, and most importantly, having the listener repeat what is being said to you. That's the biggest thing. Make sure you have their attention and you're being very direct with them, but most importantly, have them repeat the message. That's probably one of the best advices I could give. Because again, you'll say one thing or I will say one thing and then you'll hear something else. If you're not sure, ask the questions. And if you're not sure that the person you're giving the directions to understands you, ask them to repeat it back. Because sometimes they'll say something back to you, and you'll think, no, that's not what I said at all. So make sure it's being communicated clearly and have them repeat it back to you. And then last but not least, clarify any misunderstandings. If they're not sure about something or you're not sure about what they're not understanding, talk to each other, communicate. Again, don't leave anything out there to chance or to assumption. Make sure you are communicating. Okay? Those are just a couple little notes, tidbits, if you will, to help practice three-way communication. There's other avenues. There's other aspects that we could, go in more depth about. But I don't want to lose everybody's attention span. I'm supposed to be a quick video. So please make sure that you are actively speaking and communicating, making eye contact, and ultimately you're trying to be engaged, trying to help the team. And it all starts with clear communication. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hopefully you find this of value. And if you ever need to reach out to me again, my name is Charles Dickinson with the Safety Development Group. I appreciate it.